Okay, today we're going to be assembling a faux teak table for our boat. As you can see, we've got a few different parts here. We've got the stainless parts from Taco Marine. You can get these at a handful of different marine outlets. I'll go ahead and put some links in the description below so that you know where you can purchase them. They're on Amazon, on eBay, and a lot of different marine outlets. This piece here is going to mount underneath the table. That's going to be the footing underneath the table that allows it to connect to the pole that then connects to the boat. The Taco Marine one, instead of just a press fit, it also has a release knob here that has a pin on the inside, and the pin locks into one of the four holes on either side of this footing here, on either side of the stand. So you can actually position the table in a certain direction, lock the pin in, and it'll stay there instead of spinning around like a lot of the other ones do with the aluminum feet. I really like that feature instead of just having to depend on it staying in place with the press fit and spinning around whenever everybody bumps into it. So that's a real nice feature there. And then this one here, once it's connected to the bottom of the table, slides into this here. This attaches to the boat itself. You can buy additional mounts so that you can have 1, 2, or 3 different spots in the boat where you can actually place your table without having multiple tables and multiple legs. So you can use the same leg, same table in multiple locations just by buying a couple or 3 different feet. And then this piece here, the nylon section, it fits behind here so that you're not scraping this against your fiberglass or gel coat every time you're sliding in and out. It's instead sliding against the smooth surface on the nylon backing plate here. So those are the different pieces we're working with. You also want to make sure to use stainless steel hardware. This is just stainless steel hardware from Home Depot. If you have a marine outlet nearby where you can get 3/16 stainless steel hardware, that's even better. I think this is it's 300 series, probably 304. I don't think it's 3/16. And then make sure to have a Sharpie so that we can mark our location for the actual foot to go on the bottom of the table. And then some kind of a straight edge. I'm going to be using a level as my straight edge. We'll go ahead and get started here. So first we want to flip the table over on its back. And what I'm going to do is get the approximate corners here. Depending on what tabletop you're using, it may have corners that are easier to find, may not. This one had rounded corners, so it's going to be a little bit more of a guess. And I'm going to approximately pick the center here, draw a little line. And again, going the opposite direction from corner to corner. And then I'm going to use a tape measure here to find the center, just to make sure my markings are correct. So using the tape measure to find my center, I'm at about 3 feet, 37 inches, I'd say, from end to end. So I'm going to find the middle here. It's going to be 1.5 feet plus about another 1/2 inch. That's pretty close to where we were. So we're right on target there. And we're going to find the center this way as well. We're right at about 24 inches. So right about 12 inches or so. Again, that is really darn close. So we've got a good location for our center. Just to confirm there, measure twice, cut once. That's what they always say, right? And now we've got 4 mounting holes. If you've got an unusually heavy table, you can always drill another 2 mounting holes on either side of this bracket. I think the 4 will be good for this one. It's not a terribly heavy table. It's larger. It's a little bit oversized, but it's a little bit oversized, but that should be enough support. If we notice any of the screws are pulling out later on, we can always add another couple mounting holes. So let's go ahead and get this lined up as best we can. That's going to be about our center marker, right about there. And this thing's going to move all around while we're trying to get it screwed down. So what I'm going to do is mark the holes, all 4 of them. All right, so we've got all 4 holes marked, and if you have 2 more drilled, you can mark those as well. And if you're not using the Taco Marine hardware, same process. You want to go ahead and mount the foot first, and then after you do that, you measure everything on the boat itself, along with the leg and everything inserted. You find the location for your mounting plate on the boat, and then finally the last step is to put the mounting plate on the boat. So this is always where you're going to start, no matter which set of hardware you're going to use. Now, your screws, you want to make sure they're not too long. Some tables have much thicker base, and you can get away with longer hardware. Some tables have much thinner base. For this particular table, I went ahead and used a handful of different length screws. These are going to be the 3/4 inch screws here that I have, and I went ahead and we're going to find the center this way as well. We're right at about 24 inches, so right about 12 inches or so. Again, that is really darn close, so we've got a good location for our center. Just to confirm there, measure twice, cut once. That's what they always say, right? And now, we've got 4 mounting holes. If you've got an unusually heavy table, you can always drill another 2 mounting holes on either side of this bracket. I think the 4 will be good for this one. So what I'm going to do is mark the holes, all 4 of them. All right. So we've got all 4 holes marked. These are going to be the 3/4 inch screws here that I have, and I went ahead and put them through the plate and put on the edge of the table here. And what I'm looking for is to make sure that it's not going to protrude on the other end. And as long as it doesn't, and that looks okay, you should be all right. Now, that looks okay. We've got maybe about a 1/16 of an inch remaining, so that's enough room to make sure that we don't poke a hole through the other side of the table. I'm going to get it lined up right there. And make sure you go slow. Take your time with it. Now, before I tighten that one down, what I'm going to do is start the other ones and get everything started as far as the screws. We're going to get the second screw in. And again, you don't want to tighten these just yet. Now, I've got them all snug, but they're not tight. Still wiggles a little bit. I'm going to check the other side. Make sure none of my screws came through. Run your hand across it. If you do feel anything protruding, you want to pull the screws out. Get some shorter ones. These seem okay. So we're going to go ahead and tighten everything down. Again, make sure that nothing is protruding out the other side. You don't have any bumps or anything. If you do, go ahead and pull the screw out. Might need to shorten them or buy a shorter screw. So the next thing we want to do is, we're obviously in the garage right now, but the next thing you want to do is take the table and the leg and your mounting plate for the boat, along with drills and hardware and everything to your boat, or if you have your boat at your home, you can do it there. And what you want to do is insert the leg fully. Make sure the clip goes in, it's holding it, and it's the direction you want. You can try different directions and take it onto your boat, position it in different areas, figure out exactly where you want the table positioned as far as side to side, height, and then have a second person help you, put it inside the mount, and position it on the boat. Mark the holes with some markers, and you're gonna have to drill the fiberglass and the gel coat, and then use some hardware in order to secure the mounting plate onto the boat. The other thing that you want to look out for is the angle. Depending on where you're mounting the plate, sometimes there's a little bit of an angle. You might need to shim the back of the plate. So we'll go ahead and do that next and show you how that looks. Okay, now we've got our table, our hardware for the table leg and the mounting foot, everything here on the boat. And we've got our drill and our driver, stainless steel screws, drill bits, everything ready to go. And we're going to place the table to where, so we've got a wraparound seating here. So we're going to place the table to where it fits this direction so that we can use it while we're seated there, here, or here. I think that's going to give us the best orientation for the most useful space. And then we'll still have this area open so that we can walk through and step in and out of the boat without the table being too far over. So what we did was figure out where we wanted as far as height goes, and I used the nylon backing plate to place there and get the holes marked. And next thing we're going to do is drill the holes out. I don't have easy access to the back of this panel from here. There's a storage tray underneath that seat that doesn't really allow us to get back behind this unless we disassemble all of that. So I'm just going to use regular wood screw type fasteners that don't require me to get to the back. If you can get to the back of where your mounting is going to be, it would be better to use bolts along with washers and nuts on the back side. We're going to drill the holes first. Again, we've got them marked. And we're going to do one by one using got the holes drilled, and I got all 4 screws started. I haven't tightened it up yet. Now that I've got all 4 in, so that you make sure that you're getting the threads catching on all 4, so you don't have any misalignment. Now I'm going to go back one by one and tighten these up. When I was tightening them the first time, you heard the impact hammer having a little bit of a tough time. So whenever I run into that with fiberglass, fasteners going into fiberglass, what I'll do is let it go in a couple turns and then reverse your driver and pull them all the way out and then put them in. That way any sort of residue fiberglass that's stuck in the threads makes its way out and dislodges from the threads. And then the second time you tighten up the fastener, then it'll go in pretty easily and you'll have a better idea of when it's actually tight versus just getting stuck on the threads. So everything looks good and firm here. Next thing we're going to do is attach the leg back to our table and get it put on, and hopefully everything fits well, because at this point we're pretty committed to where it's at. Let's see what it looks like. So if you remember, we used the table footing that has the pin along with the leg that has the pinholes at 4 different positions. So if we ever wanted to, we could always rotate this thing around and get it to fit in any direction we want. And the beautiful part about the ones with the pin, they lock in place. We've had on our other boats the legs that are just a press fit, and every time somebody walks by and kicks the table on accident or bumps into it, it spins freely. It's really annoying. I'm glad to finally have one on this boat that has a pin to hold it in the location we want it. All right, so there we go, locked in place. You saw the pin drop in. So now that that's in place, we're gonna get put onto the footing on the boat and see where everything lines up. Okay, so this one is just the slide in. So you line it up there, falls right into place, pretty nice and firm. And let's see what it looks like from the top side. That is perfect. All right, fitment's pretty good. Slide in and out all around it very easily. This ended up being actually a much better fit than I thought. There we go. All right, I like this thing. I put all the links in the description below for the tabletop itself. It's the composite teak tabletop from Defender Marine. I'll put a link down in the description. And all of the hardware we used is from Taco Marine. Put all the links in the description for that as well. And if you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below. And make sure to like, subscribe, and share for more content like this. Thanks for watching. Now let's see what this thing looks like when we turn it. We should be able to turn the table and locks right into place. So that's interesting. It's not very useful because it blocks that seat on that side. But I love that it locks in place. And the good thing about this setup is that we can use this same table up front in the bow area. All we've got to do is get one more of these footings and another nylon backing plate, and we can put another mounting location in the front of the boat, which I don't think we'll do, but I do think it might be useful back here on the back of the boat. I'm gonna do some thinking and see if we'll actually go through with that or not. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Again, if you have any questions, leave them below. Boys, how do you like the new table?
Good.
Yeah? Lean back, let me see how much room you have. All right. And you can have your girlfriends right there too. No?
No.
Say bye, Ari. Say bye, Aiden.
Bye.